Hi there, this is Devlin Miles of SLB in the Trailer podcast. This is episode 9, and we're at Putnam's Unplugged in Brooklyn at 419 Myrtle Avenue. Cross street is Clinton Avenue. And we have a fun night planned tonight. We have 4 songwriters, including myself. I'll be hosting the evening, doing some songs as well tonight. Our first songwriter of the night, we have Megan Talley. And she's a songwriter based out of New York City, right? And lives in Westchester County, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her experience up there. And she's coming tonight to play Putnam's Unplugged, and we'll find out more about her style. She's played Rockwood Music Hall, Webster Hall, Cameo Gallery, and her first EP is coming out soon. So I'd like to welcome Megan Talley.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to, because you got a new project coming out.
Yeah, I do. I recorded that in a couple different places, so it took over a lot of months, so I'm stoked that's finally being finished now, or it is finished, and I'm just kind of working on getting some, promotional stuff together before I release it. I'm thinking of doing some music videos first, so I'm working on that side now, and promoting it. It's going to be my first EP. It's going to be called Piece by Piece. And
who would you say that your influences have been for songwriting or stylistically? Can you call?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm almost like embarrassed to mention the band Bright Eyes, because he's a big influence. He's kind of the reason I started writing songs. His name is Connor Oberst, and so he's like a folky kind of thing. And then I dig all the like folk singer-songwriters, Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell. Counting Crows are like a big influence of mine, like 90s like rock, pop stuff.
And you went to music school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually just graduated like a year ago.
Okay, and that was in Miami? Mm-hmm. And let me just give it props. It's Frost School of Music?
Frost School of Music.
Okay, and how was your experience there?
It was awesome. Like, I didn't even write songs or do that thing in high school. I didn't sing. You couldn't have paid me to sing in high school. I was like so shy. Then I went there and I studied music business. I love music, and I was like, I can make a career promoting other music that I love, if I don't make my own. But then slowly but surely I kind of started writing, and people were like, oh, that's a really good song. I like your voice. And I don't think you're, I was like, okay. Then I more and more committed to it and jumped kind of headfirst into trying to be a singer-songwriter. So, and the program there was amazing. So
they actually do focus on business in music too.
They focus on business. Yeah. So I took music publishing classes and stuff like that. They also have like a contemporary songwriting program. So it's kind of like you'd see it at Berkeley, University of Southern California, UMiami, Belmont, kind of. Not many universities though that I could study guitar and be a guitar principal and like have a bachelor's of music in that without being like a jazz or classical principal. Right. Like I was a songwriting principal, so we had workshops where we learned we had Anglo-American songwriting workshop where you learned like old folk songs and stuff. We had African-American songwriting workshop. We learned like old blues songs, and debatable whether or not they should be split. The program is like new, and they're thinking about that. But and then we had like pop workshops where we'd learn like we model one of the songs that people love the most. I almost feel like it loses some of its like street cred, or it was a school project that like, and I close every set with it. On my New York gigs, like people love it. I modeled it after like a Sheryl Crow song for a school assignment. So yeah, so cool. It was cool.
Sometimes you find those gems when you're doing something for assignment purposes.
Yeah, doing like an exercise.
Yeah, great. Well, so you got your CD coming out, and you've talked about your influences, but your music influence obviously came from somewhere, because you sought out music school. So who was your music influence in your life?
Like my personal?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a like hugely musical family. My uncle is a singer-songwriter and a guitar player, so that was big. I think I just started playing guitar. Really, I was like a guitar player in high school. I had a band where I would like write and also just play, and I didn't even bring an acoustic guitar down to college, and my professor who like let me, and like I had my demo with a band and stuff, and then I played like we were all like solo singer-songwriters at school, and I played like my first thing with just my electric guitar, and I was like such a dumb freshman, like solo acoustic or solo electric guitar. He was like, you should have an acoustic guitar brought down to school. You're gonna need that.
And who would you like to collaborate with in your lifetime? Like who's like an ideal for you?
There's so many.
Give me a couple.
Who would I like to collaborate with? when Casey Musgraves came out, I was like, I would love to write a song with Casey Musgraves. Recently, like I've been wanting to just kind of play music with people that I'm meeting here. I most recently got to play a gig with the singer-songwriter named Emmy Wildwood. Because we met playing. This is kind of a funny story. Have you heard the band Guns N' Roses?
No.
Have you ever heard of that band?
No.
They're an all-female Guns N' Roses cover band, and I subbed for them on bass. And so I got to, play and meet all those people. There's a band called San Fermin. You know that band? They're kind of getting.
I'm looking to the house. Anyone?
No.
And they're shrugging their shoulders.
Well, they're.
It's good though. That's what this is about. It's about getting exposed to other bands. So cool.
Oh yeah. Well. Yeah. I got to meet some of those people and play with them, and they're also really great singer-songwriters in their own right, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my friends of friends, there's a band called The Secret Someones that my producer and guitar player is good friends with. I'd love to play, with more. They're from New York, so those are the kind of collaborations I'd really like to do, like most immediately, or and then Stevie Nicks down there, because she's looking to produce.
We like that.
She's.
Well, we want to thank you for coming. We're definitely going to welcome you back after we introduce the other songwriters we have for the night. Welcome back. We have Chris Conley with us, and he is living from, coming from 2 continents, from Staffordshire, England, correct? And he's going to tell us about his experience coming and migrating to Long Island. So we want to hear how that ended up happening. And you recently released a CD in January called Flying Lessons, and we're going to hear more about that with Diversion Records. So we want to welcome to the show Chris Conley.
Howdy.
All right, Chris, tell us a little bit about your new CD. Let's go there.
Okay. It's an album. It's a full album, but it was recently called a mini album, which I guess is kind of apt. It's got 8 songs on it. It's about half an hour long. I'm not one for long songs or elongated things, so that's fine by me. But I've been writing for a long time, and kind of keeping the really good songs in my back pocket. And then I finally kind of like synced up with this record label, and we decided we're going to do an album. And we only had 4 days. They're up in Chicago, so it meant me flying there and trying to figure out timing with a family, because my son had just been born like a year before that, so I had a 1.5-year-old at the time. So that was the first time I ever was away from the family, so I was kind of trying to condense the time away as much as possible, but also make it so that we had enough time to do everything we needed. Originally it was going to be an EP, but when I got there and I'd figured out 8 songs I wanted to do and kind of like had in my mind how they were all going to go, and like 4 the 17 to 18 hour days later, we had pretty much the entire album. So that was exciting, because we didn't even know we were going to get all 8 tracks done, and we did.
So you had all your overdubbing and everything done.
Everything.
Wow, that's amazing.
There was a few additional things, because I played all the drums on it. There's like 2 or 3 tracks with drums on. I did the bass and guitars and harmonies, but then it was one of those things where I left feeling all, yay, we did it. And then we're kind of listening back to the tracks, and I'm like, it kind of needs something. So the engineer / producer, Scott Simon, he overlaid some really good bass guitar on a few of the tracks, and he drummed on one of the tracks as well, really well. Black Swan, he did the drums on that. And that was it, and then that was everything.
I told the Putnam's audience that's coming tonight, hopefully, from Putnam's Unplugged Facebook page, I said, come on down, we're going to sing the Swan Song to Winter. So maybe you can do that tonight with the Black Swan song?
Yeah. I can do the Black Swan song,
okay, good. That'll be fabulous. So we're really excited to hear it. So it's obviously full instrumentation album.
Yeah, every song is kind of like, it's based around acoustic guitar, because that's what I write with, and that's the way my songs are intended to sound. But I had this inclination to just utilize different sounds and stuff while I was in the studio. So there's one song that just had an acoustic guitar in it, but then I used an EBow and an electric guitar, and kind of like did this overlaid drone kind of thing, which worked out really well. And then there was some where I put like just like this really kind of minimalist percussion type stuff on. So every song has like a different character, a different personality, I think, but they're interlaced in some way or another through the me old gob singing and the guitar. So it's cool though. I like it.
Well, we look forward to hearing that. How did you end up settling in Long Island from England?
I have family over here, relatives that on my dad's side, and we'd visited a bunch of times when I was I think once when I was 12, and then again when I was, I'd say, 14. And we visited when I was 21 years old, drinking age, which is
perfect.
which meant a lot of going out. And I met this girl who was friends with my cousin. I say cousin, I guess. Cousin in the sense that he's related to me, but not that he's my actual cousin.
It's all right.
Because
we're with you.
There's so many
I'm not gonna call him.
denominations of what he actually is, but he's my cousin. So I met her and hit it off. I know at the time I wasn't really looking for a relationship. I was in a band. I had long hair, like down here. I was the drummer in a band, and not really interested in girls as such. And we hit it off, and we ended up being in a 7-year long distance relationship.
Wow. Which
came to a head, and I think back sometimes, and during that I had the whole time we were on this, I had 3 jobs. I went to college, then to university, all this stuff, and then I worked for 3 years, and then decided we were going to make the move. I proposed to her in Wales, and then I moved over in 2010, and we got married.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's a cool story. And you have the one child, or do you have 2?
One little baby, yeah.
And how old?
He's just turned 2 in February.
Just turned 2. Yeah. Awesome. So that's a huge accomplishment in that amount of time, with moving here, getting a new album.
Move fast.
Yeah?
I like to move fast.
So where are your musical influences? Because you grew up in the UK, so what influenced you?
I ponder that a lot because when you're applying for gigs and whatnot, I'm sure Kate and Megan know you're applying for gigs. People want to know who you sound like and what your influences are and stuff, so they can get a handle on who you are. So I'm always thinking about it, and I always seem to have a different answer every time someone asks me. But I think, and I recently thought about it, and the first music that really got me into music and listening to it and singing out loud was Freddie Mercury and Queen.
Great.
That was the first thing that it doesn't say anything like what I do, but I don't think that really matters. And then I started listening to your typical angsty teenage Green Day, Nirvana stuff. Then weird switch. I heard not Old Man. I heard Man Needs a Maid by Neil Young. Never really heard anything like that. I hadn't really been listening to folk music, and that completely threw me 180. And I started listening to James Taylor and Neil Young and Nick Drake and then started listening to Radiohead. So there's all this weird indie influences and folk things all piling on top of each other, and yeah, it was weird, but it worked out well. I think it's a good.
It does.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the scene on Long Island. What's the live scene like out there?
The live scene is there are really good places to play if you know where they are. If you don't know where they are, it can be a little struggle finding listening rooms and places where you're going to find people who really want to listen to what you're doing and not,
eating dinner or something. Yeah,
exactly. And we take those gigs anyway because you can slip in your own songs, and sometimes they notice and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they're like, oh, what is this? And sometimes they completely ignore you.
Right.
But that's fine. That's the business we're in, and as far as I can tell, that's the same in any corner of the country. That you take those gigs and you take gigs like this where you get to play your own stuff with other people playing their own stuff, and
definitely
it's almost as exciting to hear other people play live because I've heard myself play
and
live.
Really it's about getting the message out there, and we're going to talk more about songwriting specifically. So I wanted to thank you, Chris, for giving you a little bit of your flavor.
Sure.
And we're going to hear some live bits tonight as well. We want to welcome up Kate Vargas and have Chris come back in a minute. So Chris Conley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're back with Kate Vargas, and Kate is currently living in New York City, in Washington Heights, and we're going to get some more information about the scene up there, or if there is a scene. We were talking about that earlier. But originally born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Southern Western culture and storytelling traditions inspire many of her lyrical themes. So I'm looking forward to hearing about her storytelling experiences and what her influences are. So welcome to the show, Kate Vargas.
Hello.
So Kate, tell us about your style, where it came, what were your initial influences?
It's funny because I know who moves me, the artist who moved me, but it's not necessarily what comes out. I sometimes listen to a real different thing, or something that inspires me is not how my music ends up sounding, but I guess my style is called Americana. Kind of roots rock stuff, real jangly, back porch drinking music.
I love that.
And
that's good stuff.
And I don't know where that came from, to be honest. That's what comes out, and I just go with it.
Yeah, I totally get you on that, because my influences and the people that influence me stylistically are totally not what you hear in my music.
Yeah.
And when other people are listening to my music, they always relate somebody that I've never even heard of. So I'm like, well, who's that? I better listen to them.
Yeah, I get that too. I get that.
So, when did you move to New York from New Mexico?
So, first I moved to Boston from Albuquerque. I went to Berklee College of Music, and then I moved to New York after I graduated. So I've been in New York. God, it's gonna be 5 years in September. I can't believe it. But I've been here a while. 5 years almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had 2 students here today in terms of going to music school, which I think is really important for all the indie artists that might be listening and people that trying to figure out what to do. I think it's really important that you know that there are resources out there. There are schooling options, and it's a good profession, because I think you get a taintedness to people's like, well, get a real job kind of thing. But if you go and you get your resources and you go to a school, you're going to be able to make a living at it, whether it's on the front side or the back side, the performing side. You can always find jobs within the music industry. So I think that's important. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at Berklee Music College?
At Berklee. Well, it's an amazing place. I mean, it's just really amazing, the people that I came across and everything there. And I'll tell you, what I got at Berklee personally was just that I grew up as a person. And then I got to go out and find my own style. But I would love to go back again now that I know my style and go back and
focus on it.
Yeah, but I definitely think Berklee got me to where I am now. It gave me the little push I needed, but so it took me a while.
Did it help you build your confidence in terms of musician wise, or what was?
Hey, my ears were just open at Berklee. I was just listening. I was just like very intimidated by all the talent there, but just listening, like taking it all in.
There's a lot of famous and fabulous musicians that have come from Berklee. But
yeah, we had
who is in your class that it might be in the news right now?
Guy and the drummer in American Authors. I always see him. We worked at the library together.
That's awesome.
The guy's in Passion Pit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see people all the time, on late night shows or whatever.
Both drummers I've had in previous bands have all been from Berklee College of Music, which is awesome. So, big plug for Berklee. And then, since you've been in New York, what have been your experience evolving musically?
So New York is really where I got to grow as a singer-songwriter, as a storyteller, which is a word that I use sometimes. I went into Berklee as a flute player, so I didn't even know that I was going to be doing this. And I played my first open mic across from the Natural History Museum at 78 Below. I remember every time I walk past there, I feel it in my stomach because I was so nervous walking over. And but then I ended up going every single Monday night, and going to other open mics around the city. And then I'd, say, what do you think if I get a slot? Can I get like a 30 minutes? And then maybe 45. Now can I get an hour?
Okay, cool.
So I really have grown in New York.
Yeah. Okay, that's fabulous. Have you done shows and gigging outside of the city?
I'm just starting to now. I played at an amazing place in DC recently called the Mansion on O Street. Anyone? It's just the most magical place in the world.
The Mansion on O.
It has 100 rooms and over 70 secret passageways, and they have concerts there. It's really cool. But and then in June I'll be going out of the state, so I'll be going to Iceland, and then to London and Ireland, and I'll play gigs. Yeah.
Your international tour. You go, girl. That's awesome. Tell us about Boston. What were some of the cool places in Boston that you might have come across or went and saw live music if you weren't playing yourself then?
Let's see. I know I can totally picture it, and it starts with a P.
Club Passim?
Yes.
Okay.
Club
that's
Passim.
A big one, yeah. Especially for the songwriter scene. That's a big scene,
totally. Yeah. That's the place that I'm most
frequented.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as I said, I was still half flute player, half I don't know what. so I wasn't into the
Okay.
songwriting scene yet.
So before when we were off mic, we were talking about the scene in Washington Heights, and there really isn't a scene up there. There needs to be some music venues up there.
It would be nice.
So if venues are listening, get your butt up there, because there is a scene up there. There's a lot of musicians up there, and it would be nice to just sort of cultivate that. I mean, I do think there are some music venues that cater to, like, you know, there's definitely some Latin venues up there, because I used to live in Harlem, like 133rd, I think is where I was.
Okay.
So there was definitely some scenes up there for like clubbing,
Right.
but not like listening rooms, I don't think.
That's what would
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're going to bring all of the artists back up. We want to thank Kate again, and we're going
Thank
to,
you.
and Kate can give us your call signs and let us know where we can find and listen to your music while we bring back up Chris and Megan.
So I'm online, Kate-Vargas.com, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, whatever.
Okay, and Vargas is spelled Vargas.
That's it. Yeah.
We want to welcome back all our songwriters tonight. This is I'm Devlin Miles of Sweet Little Bloodhound, and we're at the SLB in the Trailer podcast at Putnam's Unplugged, 419 Myrtle Avenue. And we had Kate Vargas, Megan Talley, and Chris Conley. And they're all here to just talk now more generally about their songwriting process, so we can get an idea of their struggles as an indie artist as well as their writing process. So first thing I'd like to ask is, what do you find is your quickest way to get out of a writing block? Do you have any tricks? And maybe the schooling maybe helped you with those moments. I'm not sure.
It's funny because I took a lyric writing class with a really great Nashville songwriter named Craig Carruthers. You know Trisha Yearwood?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Do you know the song Little Hercules? Maybe not. He wrote that song.
Awesome.
And we got to have him as a professor. They taught, you know, he was big on like, watch a movie trailer, mute it, write a song to it. Like, you know, think of, like, he would give us obstacle courses of song assignments, like, you know, you're not allowed to use the word I or you, or me or her or she, or, you know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah, I know a lot of tricks. I never use them because I'm pretty, I teach music and I play, as I do some side lady work playing for other bands. So typically I'm writing like in between like things, or I'll like, I just got back from South by Southwest this week, actually playing with another singer-songwriter, and saw a lot of, you know, different cool music. So I like woke up with a song and like set it in, you know, I don't.
Who are you playing with down there?
Oh, I was playing with this artist named Heather LaRose.
Okay. She's
like an emerging singer-songwriter, pop artist. But I guess I don't really ever find that I need to, you know, go to that exercise place yet. Mm-hmm. But I think I will. And so I can, you know, there's some creative solutions, I think.
Chris,
but I don't know about you guys.
From a musically uneducated background, I don't have anything to go by. But I don't know. Usually, I don't really remember ever having a writer's block, but that's because I think I write the different aspects of a song. Like sometimes I'll just write a guitar part or a set of chords and then kind of bank it, and then I won't even attempt to touch it. I'll just let it marinate, or I'll write some lyrics and then that'll just be separate. And then sometimes it's just a case of sitting down and I'll be playing one of the things that I've been working on, and then I'll pull out a book of a whole bunch of stuff and I'll just flick through it and something will just work. I don't know, I haven't had that. Sometimes it's self-imposed writer's block. Like I choose not to write sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to overdo it.
Right. And Kate, do you have an experience with either writer's block or inspiration?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So I do have. It takes me sometimes years to write a song, because I'm so. To me, it's like this weird process of like a jigsaw puzzle where I'm finding the pieces, and so I carry a notebook around me. I write stuff down. Sometimes it's just a word, sometimes it's a phrase, and I might have it for 2 years, and then piece it together. And I always went about it like, when the universe wants me to write a song, I'll write a song and it'll all come together, which I found, you know, worked well enough. But now I want to write faster. So one thing that I've done is with a poet friend, would do a poem a day. So at the end of the day, we'll write a poem to each other.
Wow.
And
It's nice. That just
We
sounds really
started
difficult.
that. We just started that.
Okay, cool.
So I'm a week on that.
Awesome.
Okay.
You know, it didn't take Leonard Cohen like 4 years to write Hallelujah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I have certain songs that are like a labor of love, and certain songs that you stick with it because you just feel like the point is so, you have a good something in there, a good hook or a melody or something, and you just want to finish it and stick with it. And then there are those that like they don't, like you said, they marinate. They don't go anywhere, and you constantly bring them out, and they're just not going anywhere, which drives me crazy.
I'll just put it away. Put it back in my back pocket.
Yeah, put it back.
There were these
Let it go.
You visit it every now and
There was this set of chords I had for one of the songs on the album called Bravery, and I had these chords for like 6 months, and I loved them so much that I would just play the chords on their own and just sit there and just play them through and through. I would not even attempt to think of any lyrics or any melody or anything. And then I was thinking about when the day my son was born. He was born like the day after the blizzard in 2012 12 or 13. So like we had to like drive to the hospital in like 3 feet of snow. Like it was none of the roads had been plowed, and my wife was in labor, and that was fun.
Gosh.
So like it just lyrics came from there, and I was just
That's
like,
some real life stuff there. There should be good lyrics out of that, right? We want to cover your handles, make sure people can find you. So we'll start with Chris.
Sure. ChrisJConnelly.com is the easiest. CONNOLLY.
Right. So ChrisJConnelly.com.
Yeah, MeganTally.com, and Tally is spelled Tallay. Megan without any H's or anything. MEGAN. And yeah, Facebook.com/MeganTallyMusic, Megan Tally Music on Instagram, and Megan Tally on Twitter.
Great. And Kate, one more time.
So Kate-Vargas.com, VARGAS, and Kate Vargas Music on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for coming, you guys. And we're going to go set up upstairs at Putnam's Unplugged. The show starts at 8. So we want to again thank Kate Vargas, as well as Megan Tally and Chris Conley for coming out, and they're going to play tonight. We'll get some live clips hopefully at the end of the show. This has been an SLB in the Trailer podcast, copyright production of Sweet Little Bloodhound, and I'm Devlin Miles signing off until next week. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.
See, one fun thing about Songwriter Night is we've all never met before, and we just go with the flow. And right now Megan is looking for her harp because she can play along with Kate here. So that's one thing that happens cool at live performances. So, okay. We'll see how it goes.
What do you have there? Well, I said it before, and I'll say it again. I ain't got no damn business messing with men. Scream aloud, turn around, walk out. In fact, if you love me, then leave me and never come back.
There's a black swan on my back, and he's wanting to come. Says he knows me. There's a black swan in my heart, and he sees just what I see. It's a yes. Fly me to the moon and back, sitting right where I just sat. Compensation's got my back. Silly question, or is it that there's a black swan on my back, and he's wanting to come in. Says he knows me. La ba 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 ba.
Hey, Mr. Postman, couldn't you stay? I've got nowhere to go now.
no plans today. I mean nothing to no one. Hey, but that's nobody's fault. See the people, they pass as I sit in my cage. Yeah, they wanna catch glimpses of life in my brain, but they wouldn't wanna live there, and I wouldn't blame them at all. No, 'cause I'm shooting in the dark. I'm lying through my teeth, not following the rules. So you're a fool to follow me into anything at all. So don't answer when I call, or you'll see the underside of me. That nobody is supposed to see. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much for listening.
You hook me with your smile, match to your profile, kiss the entire night, Merry New Year's time, the chance of meeting you in real life is fantasies and fairy tales aside, feels like lightning struck me twice, 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 twice.
Past the old school bus abandoned in 1963, down the long ditch road that leads you home to the sweet cottonwood trees. I swore I'd never come back. Since the day I came out screaming, I knew I had to leave. I was made for more than corner stores, than dust and tumbleweeds. You can't keep me down. You can't keep me down. You can't keep me at all. Well, a little bit of glitter goes a good long way, but a whole lot of shimmer couldn't make me stay. I'm gone. But just before I part, it hits me. Oh Lord, the music. Oh Lord, the music. Oh Lord, the music, it moves me down to my soul.
But I want to thank Megan Talley for coming tonight from Westchester.
Thank you, guys.
Right? And we have Kate Vargas from Washington Heights. That's probably the farthest journey. And then we have Chris Conley from Long Island. And I'm Devlin Miles from Sweet Little Bloodhound.
Oh Lord, the music. Oh Lord, the music. Yeah, yeah. Oh Lord, that music and more.